My name's Louise Bedford. Today I'm with Shane O'Sullivan. Shane O'Sullivan has a successful background in the sound editing and recording business, and today he's actually a full-time trader. He joined the mentor program with Tate and myself, Louise Bedford, and I'd like to ask him a couple of questions about how he found the course and how he approaches trading. Welcome, Shane.
Hi Louise, how are you?
Great. Could you perhaps give us a little bit of an idea about your background as a trader?
Okay, well, I had my business up and running for probably about 10 years. I guess I closed it down maybe 3 years ago. And towards the end of that, I actually sort of hooked up with a company that was, they tended to advocate buy and write strategies, so you would buy shares and then write covered calls over them. One of Chris's pet hates, I
Sure.
understand. Look, that worked terrifically in a bull market, and to be honest, I was taking advice from a full-service broker, which they had in their company. Look, all of that worked fantastically in a market that was absolutely booming. You really couldn't seem to go wrong. But I get the feeling that I could have got one of my dogs to put his foot on a share and said, pick that one, and I would have got similar results.
So there was no systematic approach?
No, none at all. No, they actually didn't permit setting stops.
Oh, really?
With their broker, no, they didn't have them at all and still don't. And so I really wasn't getting any discipline at all. I mean, basically I was just phoning, speaking to the broker, who would then say, look, I think this, and this. I'd then go through those, 2 or 3 recommendations and decide what I thought sat best with us. And look, that was, hugely successful there for a while. But unfortunately, once that market changed, I guess towards November 2007, things started to get a bit choppy, and we've been pretty much in a downtrend since then. There really wasn't one recommendation that was coming out that had any merit whatsoever, and of course not having any stops, and not really even knowing about stops, to be honest. I mean, things were just eroding, and all the time the advice would be, now, why don't you buy this and write some calls over it?
That can happen too, because people become very reliant on brokers' advice, and then they pin their hopes to that broker. And if that broker moves on, then the trader hasn't developed as a person, so that they can't replicate the results.
Absolutely, and I wasn't. I really was sort of giving the responsibility to somebody else. And once a number of decisions started to, or advice started to come back, and it was poor, I started to reevaluate where things were going, and it sort of came to the point where the entire broking team at this company departed on the one day.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there were some ins and outs that happened there. One side says one thing and the company says another, but it was pretty much at that point, it was like, no, I can't. And at that point I'd already been, I guess, a couple of months under both yourself and Chris, and learning about stops, learning about discipline and setting a plan. And it was at that point that I thought, well, you know what, I'm actually going to, it's time now to sever those ties and just do this myself and either live or die by my own decisions, which it sits much better with me.
And that is actually one of the things that Chris and I have tried to emphasise from the very beginning, that to take responsibility for yourself as a trader, and to also be able to trade on the upside but on the downside as well, because just to position this in time for the people listening, we are just a few days hence from the largest stock market drop since 1987, and it's been a prolonged downtrend, and all of our people have been making money that have been following our system. So I'm just so excited to talk to my broker the other day, Shane. He actually said that there's nobody that we've trained who has suffered a significant loss on the share market.
No, that's exactly right, and I'm with the same people. I'm with CBS.
Yes.
And prior to the ASIC taking the decision that
to ban short selling.
Yeah, to ban short selling, I actually opened a couple of short positions, which one is still going and is up 55% now since early September, and the other one got stopped out just the other day with about a 30% profit. So I mean, that's terrific stuff, and I would have never ever envisaged. I didn't know what short selling was prior to that. So look,
so that's as a direct result of the mentor program.
Absolutely, yeah. And look, it is, when you take responsibility like that, it is with a certain amount of trepidation at the beginning, because you're now no longer taking any advice from anyone other than, I mean, we're talking generic advice from both yourself and Chris regarding particular positions. You obviously can't give investment advice, but you certainly give good advice about techniques that should be followed and how to understand when a trend's in place or where to set stops, how to position size and money management, all of that sort of things. I had no concept
all of the
of money
essentials as a trader, that they're the things that we try to relay and impart. Excellent. So what would you say would be the main things that you've learned from Chris?
Look, I guess Chris, he's very methodical in how he approaches things, and I would assume he's quite disciplined from his approach. So I guess from Chris, there's been a lot of technical aspects, and I understand at times he doesn't like to answer questions directly. He likes to make you actually find out your own answers, which I think is a good thing, and that sort of sits well with me. So I guess he has sort of instilled in me money management as being one of the primary aims of trading, just to protect your capital. The longer I can stick around in the game, I will make money. It's as simple as that. The techniques I'm learning just make me feel confident about that. So I'm actually learning to be able to handle my trades, and not all of them are winning. In fact, probably not even greater than 50%. But my losing trades I have set at a particular level, so I can't lose more than X. But my winning trades, it's blue sky basically. So,
and that is one of the successful principles as well that I think all of the successful traders implement, is that you keep your losses small and you let your profits run. And
absolutely.
That's spectacular that you've mentioned that, Shane. I'm so excited about that. Really good. And
well,
how about
it's so true. It's so true because you really don't realise that. I mean, the amount of times that both of you have spoken of people who actually let their losses go and cut their profits. Something is starting to climb for them, or they're short selling and it's dropping for them, and they're actually getting in profit and further into profit. They start to think, I wonder if I should take some profit out of that. And the view is, why?
You can actually cap your own potential by doing that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And in terms of some of the lessons that you've learned from me during the course?
Look, I guess you've focused primarily on a lot of the psychological aspects of things, and I think we had spoken before. I mean, I had never been an advocate for anything like psychology in any way. I guess I was one of those naysayers for ages and ages. But, I mean, I've found things like, and even not just to do with my trading, but things like my daily journal, I've just found that to be invaluable just in life. I mean, it's, I may write about a lot of stuff that I'm doing to do with trading, but I may just put down anything that comes into my head. It could be gobbledygook, and that's how it's going to sound if I look back on it. But you're just unloading, things from the previous day, or if you're writing in the evening from the day that's just gone. And I just find that fantastic. There's so many things that I've written down there that they're not really things that you would actually just talk about to somebody. So you're actually sort of talking to yourself, and look, I haven't taken to going back over them and seeing if there's any recurrent themes, but I'm sure there are here and there, and but you tend to pick those up on the day that you're writing them. You sort of feel, gee, I'm sure I've said this before, I really got to, and then you'll start to write, I really have to do this, this and this, and
And we've certainly found people who have their life in balance, they're the ones that go on to trading success as well.
Right.
Now, in terms of if somebody was sitting on the fence, wondering whether they should do the mentor program or not, what would you say to them, Shane?
Well, I mean, I'd say that you're absolutely mad if you don't do something like this. I mean, I lucked into it somehow. I don't recall how. I think I might have done a chart recognition or a pattern recognition workshop with you.
That's right.
When I was still with this company. And so I have a feeling I may have just checked into the website and seen this thing and thought, you know what, this is just exactly what I need. And even in that first session where we sat for, I guess it was 2 hours and just went through some fairly basic stuff, the outline of the course and what's gone since. I mean, we've stopped. When did we stop this? July?
Mm-hmm.
No, or a little bit after. It was a number of months ago anyway. But the support that is still coming from within the mentor website, the forum there, as well as just the standard trading game forum. I mean, that sort of stuff is invaluable. If I've got a question I'm unsure about, a technical indicator that I'm trying to put together, I can post that at the Mentor Forum, and usually same day, somebody will get back, whether it's yourself or Chris, one of the other mentorees will get back and somebody will answer it. Somebody else will have another opinion, and it's just terrific to get that that sort of toing and froing with other traders who actually know what they're talking about.
Thank you so much for your time today, Shane. I really do appreciate it, and we'll be chatting on the forum. Bye for now.
My pleasure.